Champions Cup Saturday games are done and dusted. We've got a bit more clarity on which teams are going through and kind of more likely where they will end up. There's still a wait to be had for the likes of Glasgow and for Northampton to confirm whether or not they will go through. But for everyone else, it's just a matter of where they end up. Unless you're Leinster, because then you know exactly where you are going to be. Oh, and Ulster, to be fair. The first one, Northampton went to Lyon. Got a much-needed bonus point win, 36 points to 24. Didn't see this one, and I didn't see the second one live. I watched the highlights of those games. The other ones, I did manage to watch 4:15 in the morning for those two, so maybe a bit bleary-eyed, and then 6:30 over here in the morning for those final two. But yeah, 36-24. I've seen the highlights. This is one of the few games where the lead kind of swung back and forth. The other games, for the most part, they didn't really have that kind of effect going on. But anyway, interestingly, the highlights package I watched didn't show anything until 18 minutes, at which point Cordella got a yellow card for kind of an early drive on a line-out when the jumper was still in the air. And then Northampton got their first try through Hayward on 20 minutes. Bigger missed the conversion, although he seemed to think it went over. The linesman, and the one shot they showed of it seemed to look like it missed, but he wasn't a happy chappy. So 5-0 to Northampton, but then 25 minutes, Lumbe gets his try. I'm not sure what happened. He wasn't supposed to start, but he ended up starting this one. It was Hidalgo Klein's little kind of step, and then pass to Lumbe. So he went over for the try, which actually meant that Lyon won the yellow card period 7 points to 5. So despite being a man down, they managed to be ahead on the scoreboard. Half an hour, Lyon got a penalty, and Gill took a quick tap and went over for a try to make it 14 points to 5, and then kicked the penalty just before half-time to make it 17-5. So in terms of Northampton needing to get a win, that wasn't looking very good at half-time because other teams are still yet to play, and they knew even if they got a big win, they wouldn't have their fate in their own hands. But if they lost, that was pretty much it. So second half, they come out firing. Tamana Harrison gets a try on 46 minutes. Interestingly, he goes through Lumbe for that one. 17 points to 12. They kick a penalty to Northampton on 61 minutes to make it 17-15. Reinach scores what's probably the try of the game. Maybe there were kind of a few good ones. It's a turnover and a kick through. It's a knock-on from Lyon, so they turn it over. Bigger gets the ball, kicks it long. Reinach just puts the hammer down and manages to be the first guy to get the ball. Magic stuff, 22 points to 17. So at that point, Northampton's come from behind. They're back in front. But 66 minutes, Ngatai puts a wee little step on of his own to put Lyon back in front, 24 points to 22. In 72 minutes, Furbank gets a try. He goes into a gap and also really shows some proper gas to go through on the outside. 29 points to 24, back in front for Northampton. And then 78 minutes, Fish gets the try, but it's the team build-up with all the hands, and then he just stretched out to put it over. 36 points to 24. So bonus point win in the end. Stats 49 position to Lyon, 51 to Northampton, so fairly even. Interestingly, penalties conceded was 12-6, so Lyon on the wrong end of that one. Laws made 15 out of 17 tackles. Reinach had a try and a try assist. Tui Sova had 66 run meters, which was a game high for that one. So still not sure thing for Northampton, but with the amount of points they're on, I made them to be on, 19? Saracens and Gloucester are both on 14, so they need 5 points, both of them, to equal Northampton, in which case Northampton would go down, I believe, on the points difference. But Saracens have got Racing 92 at home, and Gloucester have got Toulouse away. So Northampton have put themselves in as good a position as they could, given the circumstances. So they will just have to wait and see how things pan out. The next one, Benetton against Leinster. I didn't see this one, as I said. I saw the highlights. There wasn't a whole lot going on in that first half. The highlights started on 18 minutes also with Doris's yellow card. Seemed they'd given away too many penalties, had Leinster. But there was no score during the yellow card. The only score of the first half was Ross Byrne with a penalty to make it 3-0. Half-time, that's how it went on. Benetton got a yellow card early on in the second half, but again, no points scored with the man down. But just after the yellow card, Leinster kicked another penalty to make it 6-0. And then finally, they get some tries. Doris gets one just on the hour. Seems like a pretty good Leinster build-up. A nice pass from Ringrose and a back pass from McGrath. So that they missed the conversion, made it 11-0. And then a maul try to Tracy on 65 minutes. Conversion went in off to make it 18-0. And that's the way she finished. So I'm not sure what that one was like to watch, given I didn't watch any more than about 10 minutes, as I said. But yeah, it's a result that Leinster needed to assure themselves top spot in the seeding, so they guarantee themselves a home quarter final. Still got to get through that before they can look towards anything else. But again, they've put themselves in the best possible position. So it's theirs to lose now at this point. So anyone who wants to progress past them is going to have to go to their house and get it done. So possession 55-45 in favour of Benetton. Penalties 11 to Leinster, 8 to Benetton. McGrath was the top run meter man with 40, which is pretty low in the scheme of things, so it wasn't that kind of game, I guess. Fiver made 17 tackles, Ryan made 16 tackles, Van der Fleer made 16 tackles, so that maybe speaks to the style of game it was, but I'll leave it to you guys who actually watched the thing to educate me on anything that I might have missed. The next one, which I've got Harlequins and Clermont. So I watched this one, like I said, 4:15, so a bit bleary-eyed. Had these two games going at the same time. Ulster Bath on the tally and Harlequins Clermont on the laptop. So I probably wasn't paying as much attention as I should, but I could have because it was a cracking game. Harlequins maybe feel like they should have done a bit better in terms of the result because they probably could have gotten a bit closer. Beethan got the first try for Clermont. They had a cross kick and started on the right wing and ended up on the left wing. But yeah, 7-0 early to Clermont. They were looking good. But then Northmore got the try for Harlequins almost immediately on return. They kind of broke up the middle and just put the hammer down again. So 7 apiece for that one. Para got a penalty on 11 to put them back in front. And then Clermont, I wrote on 16 minutes, blew another chance. So they did have a fair few chances early, but they weren't really able to convert. Benetton went close on 25 minutes. There was no real clear view of the grounding though. Nakalevu on 27 did actually get a try. Finally, it was a good pass onto the left wing and just kind of a matter of getting in nice and low. 17 points to 7. But then Harlequins got a maul try to Dombrandt, who ended up being man of the match actually, and he has been in really, really good form. Like, he has been one of the kind of key guys to watch. Him and Marla had a bit of a thing at the end. I don't know if they were debating who got it or just congratulating each other. It was a bit of fun though. And Marla at one point made the ref and a Benetton laugh when he was talking about something. I've seen his McDonald's ad recently, so yeah, if there's anything that guy's good for, apart from a good scrum, it's a good laugh. They missed the conversion, so it was 12 points to 17. And then just before half-time, Para had a shot at goal for a penalty, but it was just short. So that's the way it went at half-time. Second half, they kick a penalty, Clermont, 20 points to 12. Benetton knocks it on cold at one point. Otherwise, I thought he had a pretty good game. Harlequins had a chance from that knock-on inside Clermont's half, but couldn't do anything with it. 49 minutes, another penalty to Clermont, 23-12. Then what, again, might be the try of the match for this one, for Heron. Clermont kick it. He receives it, just runs it straight back at pace. He doesn't muck around. Chips over, regathers, and the ball takes a nice bounce for him, so he's able to get past the defender. And yeah, straight through. So 19 points to 26. Game on, but that was the final score of the game. So yeah, the second half seemed a wee bit scrappy. There was a bit of handbags at the end. Like I said, Don Brandt got man of the match. He was kind of everywhere. Stats, run meters 486 to 368. So that's what I mean about Harlequins maybe not being totally satisfied with the result. Possession, they had 56%. Territory, they had 57%. Tackles, they only made 88. Clermont had to make 148. They both tackled in kind of the 80s in terms of their percentage. Don Brandt, 74 run meters, 2 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten, excellent effort. Aturia had 17 out of 19 tackles, so a pretty good shift from him. Clermont's fate, obviously Harlequins are out, but Clermont still, they need to wait. They could be in the top 4, but it will require either Toulouse or Racing to drop a game, because at the moment, Clermont are, I think, in 3rd. So, yeah, there's still games in hand for the other teams to go. So we'll see what happens with that one. But that was a bit of a fun game. The next one, which was Ulster's win against Bath, and that was a bit tighter than it was predicted to be. Everyone was saying that Ulster would kind of walk this one in after riding high on such really good form, and Bath being pretty poor in the Champions Cup, but they were made to work for it. They still got the job done. No Cooney try this week, which is almost a small miracle in itself, because that guy's been on fire, but he did get taken out at one point. So maybe that's why he didn't get a try. Anyway, Ulster opened the scoring early through Marcel Coetzee, who I thought had a pretty phenomenal game. As always, he had one of the leading tacklers, turnover man, scored a try. What doesn't he do, that guy? 7-0 to Ulster early. The TMO did check it to see if there was a drop beforehand, but they said nothing clear to overturn it. They missed a penalty to Bath on about 15 minutes, but they made up for it with a try not that long later. It was a cross kick, a horrible bounce for Stockdale, or you could say a great bounce for Bath. McConaughey is the guy who dotted it down just before 20 minutes, so made it 7 apiece. There was on 22 minutes, Ulster had a run, Coetzee did a dummy, Cooney was taken out, and there was a penalty and yellow card. It was to Ellis for the push. But similar to that game last week for Ulster, when they had the man advantage, they weren't really able to make it count, which was, I guess, a bit disappointing for the Ulster coaching staff. Also disappointing was the fact that Tom O'Toole went off fairly early, just before the half-hour mark. The yellow card finished 0-0, which is pretty disappointing, and that was the only scoring of the first half. Second half, it starts pretty well. A bit of a magic try, maybe the try of the match for that one. I would say so, because Balakoon gets the try, but it's Addison's pass, kind of a back of a hand pass to Balakoon, which really sets it up. That makes it 14-7. Burns kicks a penalty for Bath to make it 14-10. And then Addison gets a try of his own. It's a 2-on-1 on the left wing, and McCloskey was kind of part of that in the setup. So how that guy missed out on the Ireland squad, it's just one of those things. But they missed the conversion. They made it 19 points to 10. Bath did get a maul try through Batty, whose moment in the spotlight wouldn't be finished at that try because he got red carded at the end, but 66 minutes it was in for a try. It was a maul about 7 meters out. It was good effort from Bath, made it 19 points to 15. There was a TMO decision for a forward pass where Treadwell looked like he'd scored a try, but Cooney's pass, which looked to, I think it was to Henderson, maybe straight up, but they deemed it went forward. So that was a tough one. They looked at that a lot of times. No go there for a potential try. Cooney went off after kind of being taken out by Batty's shoulder, like I mentioned. So hopefully he's all good. Batty got red carded for it. It's just one of those ones that we've seen a fair bit recently. Shoulder makes contact to the head, then you're pretty much gone. Burns kicked a penalty on 73 minutes to make Ulster's life a little bit more comfortable. So 22 points to 15, and that's how it finished. So Marcel Coetzee won a turnover towards the end. Interestingly for Bath, that Burns, it's confusing having them one each team, isn't it? The Bath were trying to run it out of their own 22, and he just eventually kicked it, and then Ulster got the ball and kicked it out. So it was a bit of an anticlimax in terms of a finish, but anyway, final stats: run meters 527 to 364, Ulster's favour, but Bath had 62% possession and 63% territory, so they were well in the game. Tackling percentages, both teams were pretty good, although Ulster had to make a lot more, 153 to 96 for Bath. Penalties conceded 9 by Ulster, 6 by Bath, so relatively close. The Ulster back three really lit the game up. Each of them had over 80 run meters, so really pleasing stuff. Hammer Wells for Bath had 62 run meters, and I think 5 defenders beaten. So, yeah, Ulster go through as 6th seed. They can't be passed by any of the teams below them. So, Northampton's below them at the moment, alongside Glasgow, Saracens, and Gloucester. So, we don't know which of those teams is going to make it through, but none of them can pass Ulster. So, 6th spot is where it's going to be. That could mean Exeter, it could mean Racing 92, it could mean Toulouse, could mean Clermont. So, we just have to wait and see. Either way, it's going to be a tough game, but Ulster this year, you wouldn't want to bet against them because they've found a way of getting results in a lot of tricky situations. The next one was Sale against Glasgow. This one was a proper hiding. I watched this one at 6:30. Again, TV and laptop, so I probably spent a bit more time watching the Glasgow game, but there were a lot of tries in both, so it was kind of hard to keep track. But yeah, most of those tries on Glasgow's side, as you can see, they really ran riot. They've put themselves in as good a position as they can, kind of like Northampton, but not as good a position as Northampton. And what the wins for Northampton and Glasgow means is that Munster can't make it. Munster are officially out. And Glasgow need to hope that both Saracens and Gloucester lose. I think if either of them win, then Glasgow is done, because Glasgow are in the bottom spot at the moment. I think even if Saracens or Gloucester got a draw and a bonus point, like 4-try bonus point, then that would put Glasgow out because they're 3 points behind. So, some squeaky bum time stuff for Glasgow. But like I said, they've done what they can. Nakarawa, on his return, he scored a try after a big break down the left wing from DTH van der Merwe. Kind of first phase after that. He goes over for a try, 7-0. Handbags the first time. There's loads of handbags in this game. This game was tense for both teams. There was a yellow card for Ross for a no-arms tackle for Sale. And then Fraser Brown went over for a try not long after. There was a maul, and he kind of just broke off to the side, which was the smart thing to do. And they had enough power to get him over. So 14 points to 0, 7-0 during the yellow card. More handbags. And, that's the way the yellow card period finished anyway. So 7-0 for Glasgow. Sale actually had a bit of an attacking period at the end of that yellow card, so they could have scored some points, but weren't able to quite get it done. 29 minutes, DTH van der Merwe gets his try as a good offload from Price, and 21-0, so looking pretty comfortable. But then Nakarawa gets a yellow card just before half-time to kind of give Sale a bit of a chance. But during the yellow card in the second half, Hastings at one point does a quick tap. He passes to Johnson. He goes over for a try. So they win the yellow card 7-0 again. So once when they've got the man advantage and once when they've got the man disadvantage. So they weren't mucking around. Sale eventually did get a try. It was through Cooper Woolley. It all started from a chip and chase from Sale's right winger. I forget his name. He retrieved it but couldn't quite keep his balance. But from the resulting play anyway, Sale managed to go over and get the try. So made it 7 points to 28. It's still pretty lopsided, but maybe if Sale scored next, then Glasgow start worrying. But they went for the next penalty to make it 31-7. And then Gray got his try on 63 minutes. Matawalu had gone close for that one. That made it 38 points to 7. Hugh Jones had a try that was chalked off by the TMO. Good spotting from the TMO because Gray grabbed the ball from a ruck in an offside position. So that's the kind of one that you want the TMO to be spotting because it was a bit of a sneaky one. Matawalu and Yard had a bit of a run-off at one point to see who would get to a ball first. Neither of them could get their hands on it, so it didn't end up being any important result in the contest. But the final try went to Glasgow, and that was the Turner. He has got some pace for a hooker, that guy. Oh my lord. Very agile as well. So 45 points to 7. That might have been the try of the game. To see a hooker doing that, it's like Dane Coles-esque from New Zealand anyway. But anyway, Sale had a bit of a siege at the end. They went over, but their potential try was chalked off for a forward pass, and that was the way the game finished. So possession 50-50, territory 52-48, just in favour of Sale, but run meters 252 to 544, so Glasgow winning that one. Penalties conceded 14 to Sale, 17 to Glasgow. That is a horrendous number of penalties. But there was still a fair bit of scoring for it. Harrison for Sale had 25 out of 28 tackles, and Hastings had 104 run meters, 9 defenders beaten. Austin Healy was kind of driving me a little bit nuts during the commentary, but anyway, that is by the by. So, yeah, Glasgow keep their hopes alive. Fate not in their own hands. Sale, kind of a disappointing one, but they shifted up their whole team, so it wasn't a huge surprise. We'll see what happens and if Glasgow can sneak through, or whether that's their final game in the Champions Cup for Dave Rennie's reign anyway. So, yeah, that was that one. And the last one, Exeter over La Rochelle, 33 points to 14. I guess kind of an expected result, that one. And again, that puts Exeter in a home quarter-final position, so that's good news for them. Their scrum looked pretty good early. Fittingly, Cowan Dickey got the first try on 12 minutes. It was from a maul, made it 7-0. Murimu Rivalu, though, got one for La Rochelle kind of immediately in reply. That was from the back of a scrum, I think, and then they went wide, and he went through multiple defenders to get over. It was a good job, and a good kick from the sideline from Ehai West, 7 apiece. Ewers got the next one for Exeter on 20 minutes. Again, he drove over from about a metre out. And that made it 14-7. Hogg got yellow carded, and there was a penalty try given against him for a deliberate knock on when he was going for an intercept. It's one of those ones where if he catches it, he goes the length of the field and scores a try, but because he doesn't, and there were no defenders there, because it was like from a counter-attacking play, a cross kick, he drops it, and he gets yellow carded, and it is a penalty try, so they make it 14 apiece on 25 minutes. You're thinking, man, if La Rochelle can get some points while they got the man advantage, they got a bit of momentum, and they did have momentum for a while, but the yellow card ended up finishing 0-0. And then just before halftime, was it just before or just after halftime? No, there was a TMO'd one. Yeah, it was Joe Simmons. He had a dummy pass and put the hammer down. I've said that 3 times in this video. Put the hammer down. I do like the idea of putting the hammer down. But they ruled there was obstruction on Ehai West. That's right. That was just before halftime. Yeah, it would have been a good try, but there was a bit of... I don't know if Ehai West would have tackled him, to be honest. I remember him from the day at the Blues. Not the best defender back when he was here in Super Rugby, but either way, didn't get a chance. So try was chalked off. Second half, Exeter camp on the La Rochelle line, and eventually Sam Simmons goes over for his first try, 21-14. 56 minutes, 20 phases, Exeter go. Hogg grounds the ball. Does he? No, it's on the left wing and he's trying to get it over his head. Just knocks it on. They thought the La Rochelle player might have kicked it out of his hands, but they said no. So that was another denied try for Exeter. So La Rochelle have got a 5-metre scrum to try and clear, but Exeter's pack just monsters them. So then Exeter end up getting their own scrum, and eventually Sam Simmons at the back of that scrum, which just pushes them back. They've been warned. They would have got yellow carded if they'd tried anything funny, La Rochelle, because they just keep giving away penalties. Simmons just has to kind of fall on the ball at the back of the scrum. Huge scrum, 26 points to 14. Townsend gets one on 62 minutes. It's a break from a line-out turnover and a good support line from him. That's one of the tries of the match for sure. 33 points to 14. It's how it finished. So, good enough for Exeter. They probably left a few points out there. But they are looking the business in the Champions Cup this year, which is really pleasing to see. Like I said, they'll get a home quarter final. They had 651 run meters to 204. So, that scoreboard, like I mentioned, could have been a bit wider. 69% possession and 72% territory. First half, it was a lot more even. Second half was like 85-15 almost, I think, at times. Lineouts, Exeter had 18 out of 18, which is excellent. La Rochelle 2 out of 5, which is not a very good return. Tackling percentage, Exeter 89. So that's top stuff. 84 for La Rochelle, but they made 175 tackles to 78 for Exeter. So I'm just illustrating how under the pump they were at times. Penalties conceded 6 Exeter, 13 to La Rochelle. Hill had 96 run meters, 3 clean breaks, and 3 defenders beaten for Exeter. Who would have thought he would got the top stats for run meters? LaRue for La Rochelle had 18 out of 20 tackles, so I guess good effort. But yeah, those are the Saturday games. We wait and see the results of the Sunday ones now, particularly Saracens playing Racing and Gloucester's trip to Toulouse to see the fates of Northampton and Glasgow. But yeah, I think essentially all the favourites won their games. So if you had a sneaky fiver on a multi-bet for that to happen, you'd be a winner. But not all the margins were what we thought they might be. You guys let me know your thoughts on the results, bits that I missed and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.